Voters poll conducted by Global Info Analytics places Solomon Asumadu of the New Patriotic Party ahead of his closest rival Bernard Bediako of the National Democratic Congress in a race for parliament. According to the poll results, Asumadu currently leads with 49.7% of voter support, while Bediako Bernard follows with 43.8%. The data reflects shifting voter sentiments as the 2025 general by-election in the Akwatia constituency approach, indicating a competitive but favorable position for the New Patriotic Party candidates. The poll is part of Global Info Analytics' ongoing nationwide tracking of political trends. Analysts say Asumadu's lead may be attributed to his strong local presence, campaign messaging, and focus on economic development. However, with a small margin separating the two candidates and a portion of voters still undecided, the race remains open. Let me go on the phone line and speak to Dr. Jonathan Asantewatwe. Doc, thank you so much for your time on 505.
You're welcome.
I'm sure you've gone through the data from Global Info Analytics. So ahead of the Akwatia by-election slated for the 2nd of September, two main candidates, that's Asumadu Solomon of the NPP and Bernard Bediako, lawyer of the NDC. The NPP's candidate is tipped to win that particular election. What's your reaction to the data from Global Info Analytics, first of all?
Well, let me say good evening to your listeners. It is an interesting poll that Global Info Analytics had done. Looked at various demographies, the strength of the previous parliamentarian. It gives us gender. It gives us information about age groups, the majority being those within 35 to 44. Educational background, majority are with the junior high, that's about 36% or so. Religion, of course, Christianity, 34%. There are other religious practices as well. Ethnicity, I thought that area is more cosmopolitan and that you have more settlers there. That's the more reason why the likes of Baba Jamal and co win, a seat in the eastern region. But the account is around 59.9 or so. Now, we also looked at governance and performance, where, in the view of the respondent, the direction of the country, 47% says that it is going right, 41% said it's going wrong, and then about 12% they had no response or view. So in that key electoral area, the president, job approval is also high than those who disapprove. So if you look at this, they also ask, whether the economic condition has improved. 47% said yes, 29% said it hasn't changed.
Yeah.
And so on and so forth. They ask them the key issues that will influence their direction in terms of the voting. Some say development project. So if we have a situation where development projects, have not taken place, then the previous government will take more of the blame than the current government. If it has, then it means that the previous government will have more plus than the current government, because I don't think that you would have used just about 7 months to be able to do development projects. Cost of living. In terms of cost of living, 56.3% thinking that they will use that mentality or that disposition to vote. If that is the case, then it is quite problem that it will not favor the NDC, then it means that what at all would influence someone to take a decision to vote in this direction or the other direction. That being said, on the D-Day, our politics, a lot of things can really happen on the D-Day.
Yeah.
And since it is more or less like a bragging right, and it is also like the lifeblood of the NPP, because if the NPP to lose this particular seat, then it means that Ghanaians were really appalled by the way and manner they conducted themselves while in government. And of course, they also want to side with the current government so they get the needed development. In actual fact, I don't know if it was your platform. I said that I think the person that they voted for, the NDC, the person they voted for, is the person that I was thinking was likely to win. You know why? Because if you look at the percentage, in terms of even numbers, the gap between the president, Mr. Mahama, and the former vice president, Dr. Baumia, it is very infinitesimal. So it means that those who did the legwork, right, in that constituency, they will have to be rewarded. And that's the more reason why they voted for that particular person. Because I'm told he's the executive,
Yeah, he's a constituency secretary.
Constituency secretary.
Yeah.
And he's a lawyer for that.
Sure.
So it was obvious that, that tough work that they did to close the gap. Even the parliamentary, it is just in thousands or so, just of 3,000. So with the presidential, you could see that Mr. Mahama had bridged it up. So that ministers can look at it and look at the performance, the general performance of the government, then it's going to be very dicey. I just don't want to say that, in actual fact, when I had not interrogated the figures, I thought that maybe the NDC will want to improve the numbers over there. But it appears that they may want to win this particular seat as well.
Okay.
They may want to win this particular seat as well. That's whether they'll be able to win or not. I think that if they look at the current performance of the government, and it is cost of living that they are going to use, if it is infrastructure or project or developmental project, if they have a certain high distance in terms of developmental project, then it means that will go to the benefit of the previous government, as I said earlier. But if these things are absent, then it means that they will be very much angry in terms of maybe road projects, in terms of schools, in terms of hospitals and that. They do not have those facilities. Then they will use their anger to visit their vicissitude on the NPP erstwhile government and probably decide to vote for the NDC and just join the bandwagon, because after all, that is where power is moving to. So I think that is a bit dicey for me.
I see. Now, if you look at the figures given, so the NPP currently is leading. That's 49.7%, NDC 43.8%. But according to the data, if the NPP had taken Amasi as their candidates, the NDC's current candidates would have won or would win in the Akwatia by-election with 46.9%, with Amasi 41.4%. Now, you talked about the current situation of the economy. It means that the NDC would have more campaign message than the NPP. And again, the campaign message can overturn the data provided by Global Info Analytics, if I'm right.
Well, why not? It is possible. I mean, if, for example, there is no internal peace in terms of the way and manner they did the public acclamation, then it means that internally there will not be unity. That could easily work against them. Now, the other 2 or 3 contestants that contested, Mr. Babe, right?
Yeah.
Yes. If they all come on board with the view that unity of purpose they want to support him and let the electorate know that they are together, that will become a formidable force against the NPP.
And of course, it includes the immediate parliamentary candidate for the area.
Yes, Mr. Yadom.
Sure.
Yadom,
sure.
Right? So, I mean, if they create that impression, for the optics, it is good. But if, somebody should go behind the scenes and do the unthinkable, well, then it means that global influencing data will easily come to pass. But if I'm looking at it from the 2024 election, in terms of presidential, then it means that it's just going to be a close call. Apart from that, because the NPP lost an MP through death, there's a likelihood of sympathy vote. But if you look at the percentage of the sympathy votes allocated, then it means that is very insignificant. So it means people who are going to look at sympathy for the late MP is 12.6%. Right? Development project is 57. The cost of living or economy is 56. Quality education is 52. Galamsey is 37.6%. Crime 24%, and so on and so forth. But sympathy for the late MP is 12.6%. I don't know whether because they didn't take the wife, but that is beside the point. So if sympathy votes will not be that significant, then it means that there are other, crucial driving forces that will determine, ultimately who wins the slot.
I see. Now we just have about barely a month to go in that crucial by-election. The NPP's candidate is a CEO of a mining company, and of course we know what Akwatia stands for. It's a hub of it's a mining community. Let me put it that way. The NDC's candidate is also a lawyer. In fact, he was the legal counsel for the immediate parliamentary candidate for the area. That's the NDC in a legal banter with the late former member of parliament. How is the election going to pan out between these two candidates, and what should their campaign be centered on to bring victory to any of them?
So for the NDC, will have a lot of campaign messages or superior campaign messages than the NPP, because he just lost an election, 2024 election. With all your campaign strategies, it did not work. So they will rather be using negative sentiment, and that would be, we lost the MP. That is one playing on the emotional guitar of the electorate. Obviously, the NDC, they have this huge number. If we add it to that, what will become of opposition in Parliament? So these are mere lamentations. Other than that, what message? They can tell you that when they came, petrol prices have gone down significantly. They can tell you, yesterday or 2 days ago, my boy electrician was telling me how some of these electrical, wires and other things have come down. Even fridges and those things. Was mentioning Melcom and other places. So these are realities on the ground. The CD is performing credibly well. In areas such as Akwatia, they may be doing more. There may be some big business conglomerate. They may be doing importation and other things, and that will have a certain known effect. So unless it is the fact that people belong to the NPP, for which they want to vote for the NPP, because that is where their sympathies lie. But if it is a matter of looking at the fact that a government is supposed to better the lot of the elected or those that they are ruling, those that they are taking their taxes, and so on and so forth, then certainly the NDC will have an edge, or they should have an edge. Today I'm not paying, what's it called, e-levy. I'm not paying e-levy. The youth who are doing that, they are not losing whatever their wins, the 10% or 20%.
Yeah, sure, 10%.
Yes, 10% on their winning.
Mm-hmm.
That in itself, if somebody like that has to vote, definitely they want to vote for the current government or the one going to represent, the current government. That is what they want to do. But as I said earlier on, if it is the economy, it is about development projects, which I said that if they don't have development projects, then more of the blame will be on the previous government. In terms of the current trend of the economy, the benefit or the credit will go to the current government. So if the individual candidate, if he has a good personality, he liaises well with the people, and being a secretary for that matter, there is that interface. You may have exhibited good interpersonal human skills and qualities with the people that you have been leading. So if you have all these qualities, and as a lawyer, you may have been doing certain cases pro bono, thinking that in the near future you may want to become a member of parliament in that area. So all of these things might have worked in his favor. Now the other one being a CEO of a mining company, well, he may have resources. Such a person may be isolated, may be a person in isolation, and being a wealthy person, so to speak, many of the downtrodden may not have access to him. You understand? May not have access to him. So he's not a politician in the first place. So there are so many, positive and negative factors that may work or may not work. So let's see how it goes. But I think that is going to be a close call.
I see. Well, let's see how it goes. Doc, thank you so much for your time this evening.
Okay.
So that's Dr. Jonathan Asantotri, who is a senior lecturer at the University of Cape Coast and also a political analyst. Well,